Thank you, everybody. Welcome back. Something a bit different today. I've decided to start something kind of new on the channel, if you like. I've seen other people do it. Yeah, it's not like anything new or anything. I just thought I'd have a bash at doing a similar kind of thing. I know Steve does this kind of a lot. But since the pickups have now dried up, I mean, there will be more pickups videos to come, but there's probably 2 or 3 left, I would say. But obviously going forwards, they're not going to be many pickups. So what I thought I'd do, I'd just sort of do like just a summary of what I've been doing, really. Bit of like a video diary, I suppose. As much for myself as anything else. I can look back and think and see what I was doing in whatever time of year. Maybe in the future, I don't know. But anyway, I just thought, I don't know what it's going to be, really. It's just a mystery tour. But like I say, just kind of what I'm getting up to, or what I have been up to in the past couple of weeks, if I do one of these every couple of weeks or a month, I don't know. You know, stuff I've been playing maybe, or... Because there's, you know, now I've sort of finished the collection, you know, I've got a mass of stuff I've really never played. So I do want to start, you know, actually exploring what I've been buying all these years. And so that'll kind of be good, really. You know, and I'll just maybe quick thoughts of what I've thought of something, I don't know. But yeah, maybe stuff I've been watching, maybe stuff I've been doing in the room, places I've been, I don't know. I'll just see how it goes. If it's not for you, fair enough. If you don't want to watch, you know, I won't be offended. But yeah, I've passed since Christmas, really, since I've sort of stopped buying games. I kind of lost the gaming mojo a bit, purely because I'm not buying stuff, I think, really. But I am enjoying not constantly looking for stuff. You know, I am finding that quite therapeutic, I suppose, maybe. Anyway, like I say, it turned me away from the games a little bit. But then obviously over Christmas I got into the Lego and I bought a few of them. And I'd done the game room tour just after Christmas, and to be honest, I was quite happy with it. I couldn't see where I was going to change it. And I didn't see myself making many changes going forwards from there. But, you know, the Lego really has started a bit of a snowball effect. In the fact that I needed to make a bit of space to display the Lego I was building. There's nowhere in here, so the sort of changes had to start in the arcade. I had to make some space somehow, but then one thing has led to another, and I've ended up changing loads of things in here and in the arcade. You know, I didn't see it coming, but that said, now I've made these changes. Or I've nearly, you know, I'm not quite there yet, but it's so much better, I've got to say. So, like I said, I've got to make space in the garage for this Lego display. So something had got to give. And it ended up being the VHS. Because kind of on a side note, while making space for this Lego and clearing out some VHS, I mean, I haven't got rid of it, I've just stockpiled it at the moment. But it did get me thinking, why are you buying all this VHS? You know, because it's not particularly cheap if you start buying it on eBay. And I just thought, this is all, I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong, I love it. But it's kind of, it's an inferior product to stuff, you know, you've replaced it with in the intervening years. And that brings me on to DVDs. Now, I used to be a massive DVD collector, stroke, film fanatic. going back to the 90s when I had the shop, the shop was kind of and games became a bit of a busman's holiday up to a point. And, living and breathing it day in, day out, you needed something else. And DVDs and films were my kind of sideline in the 90s. And I got seriously deep down that rabbit hole. I don't know how many I had, but I had a massive collection. It was huge, miles more than I had games. And I loved it. But then, sort of from the early noughties, I would say, it was pretty much stockpiled. And then when I moved here, maybe 10 years ago, space was a problem because I went from living by myself to living with two other people. So, I hadn't got the space that I previously had. So, and it's all happened in a fairly short space of time. There was lots to get done. So I had to get really drastic. And I thinned out the DVD collection by probably 60%, I would say. And I was just music magpies at the time. They were giving you pittance then. God knows what they give you now. But anyway, the rest of it then was just stuck in storage boxes, and it's remained there for 10 years in storage. But this brings me back to the VHS, because I was looking at this VHS and I was thinking of stuff I'd kind of like to find and buy. And as I was clearing it out, because I was putting it in where I'd got my DVD stored, and I suddenly thought to myself, kind of a light bulb moment, why are you buying all this VHS when you've already got it on DVD, which is, better quality and takes up less space? So that kind of sent me down the DVD rabbit hole again, really, in the sense that I've pretty much cleared all my VHS out of the arcade to make space for Lego displays, and I've also been rediscovering my DVD collection. And I've got kind of half and half sort of film DVDs and TV based DVDs. And I've managed to get all the film pretty much DVDs in the arcade, as well as having space for Lego to be displayed. Kind of half and half, I suppose, if you like, at the expense of VHS. And I'm loving it. I've got to say, I'm mad back into the films now. And much like the games, I like old stuff. But where films are concerned, I like really old stuff. Stuff that nobody watching, except Russ maybe, would be interested in. I like really old black and white stuff. In addition to newer stuff, but that's by the by. So I've been loving sort of rediscovering what DVDs I kept, because I couldn't remember. Like I said, I got rid of them fast, and the rest was stockpiled and stored. So I've been kind of curating my DVD collection a lot recently, and there are holes in my collection which I've been sort of trying to plug. Stuff I shouldn't have got rid of, stuff I never got round to buying, that kind of thing. Predominantly 80s type stuff. There's a lot of 80s films that I really wanted to get back in the collection, and I'm still in the process of doing that. But the beautiful thing about DVDs, obviously, is they are dirt cheap, and it's brought charity shops back into being useful, because obviously there's nothing in charity shops, but there are DVDs, and they are giving them away in a lot of cases. I mean, if you're paying £1, they're quite expensive. I've been in some shops that's £6 for £1. It's ridiculous. So I've bought quite a few out of charity shops these past few weeks, and also I bought a few off eBay, off Music Magpie, funnily enough, because again, they're probably £1 to £2 on eBay, and Music Magpie usually have got deals on where it's you buy one, you get one 40% cheaper or half price or whatever. So they are dirt cheap to collect, which suits me fine. So I am kind of enjoying re-experiencing my films, like I say, and it's given me a new focus of when I go anywhere. I can look in charity shops because I gave up long ago, but now they are worth looking in because I've had some decent bargains and finds. Um, and I've still got a bit of expansion space for some more DVDs, whatever I find going forwards. And I've also got to do a bit more shelving um, in a couple of areas in the arcade to create a bit more space for both Lego and DVDs. So it's coming on nicely. I'm really pleased with it. It's I think it's made the arcade even better. And I've also incorporated like a little sort of music station, if you like, which I hadn't got room for before. And I've got like a ghetto blaster and some. I've kept some music VHS there, and some cassettes and CDs, that kind of thing. And I've got a nice little retro music station, which is really cool. I've resisted the temptation for vinyl. I don't want to go down that route. I've got nowhere to put them or the player, so that's a no-no. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm feeling a lot more kind of rounded, if you like. Where before it was 100% games, and it was like I hadn't really got eyes for anything else. Where it can be a bit consuming, I felt. But now I've got more of a balance where I've got the games and also the films. And I'm big into cycling. I know nobody is, so I'm not going to mention it again. But the cycling season has started, so that's kind of a triangle of entertainment for me. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to really, and I'm still in the process. And where I'm stockpiling all this sort of where I was stockpiling my DVDs, which is now sort of partly VHS. I'm thinking of it's in the shed. I'm thinking of turning it into some kind of I don't know, maybe film stroke DVD shed, a bit like Mike's shed, that kind of thing. Because I love the atmosphere in Mike's shed. It looks wicked. So I'm kind of thinking on doing something like that maybe in the summer when the weather gets better. Because this week's been so much better. It's allowed me to sort through these DVDs being a bit warmer. So that's kind of in the back of my mind. I might do, because I was going to do like a third game in there, and it seems a bit pointless really. So I think I'm going to make it, like I say, a DVD stroke VHS film shed kind of thing. So that's kind of where we're up to. So I've still been buying and building a few Lego sets. But this kind of how I've organised the shelving has really kind of helped in a way with the Lego rabbit hole, because I've got a limited amount of space, and the way I've organised it, it only really suits smaller sets. And I've found I like making the smaller sets more than the larger sets. So kind of the £50 and less sets really are the ones I like and I've got space for. So that's what I'm going to be buying going forwards. Because I was thinking of a couple of the large sets, which are a lot of money, but I've got nowhere to put them. So that's kind of helped really, because I've got nowhere to put them. It's off the table. I'm not buying them. However, again, cars are my main passion with the Lego, much like the games. So I've bought and built another couple of cars. This is a NASCAR, obviously, as you can see, a Speed Champion set, really nice. I love these. They're only like 20 quid each. They're 300 pieces. Takes you, I don't know, hour and a half to 2 hours to build one, maybe not that. Really, really good, real nice compact size, suits me perfectly. However, my number one want, I think I showed the Ayrton Senna McLaren in the Lego video I did, and there was a Nigel Mansell one coming out in the future. Well, that future was the 1st of March. I had to pre-order it, and this is the best one I've built. Fantastic. These are a bit bigger. These are 900 pieces, I think. 70 quid retail, but this is certainly as big as I want to buy one. But it's mega. And it looks fantastic next to the McLaren as well. I'll insert a little bit of video here just so you can see what it looks like built. But fantastic, honestly. David, you need one. Right, so yeah, like I say, I've been getting back into the films, so I'll just run through quickly what I've watched recently. First one is Convoy, which now I've been trying to buy or expand my sort of vehicle based films. I remember watching this when I was a kid. Probably haven't seen it since the 80s. Wasn't expecting a lot. Not a bad film, actually. Much better than I anticipated it might have aged. I'm sure you've watched it. I mean, you know, it's a convoy of lorries travelling across America, being hassled by the law. It's quite good. In a similar vein, I'd never seen this. I knew of it, but I'd never seen it. So I managed to get myself a copy of Jewel, which is obviously Steven Spielberg's first film. Now this seems quite uncommon. I don't know if it's ever come out on Region 2, because this is Region 1. And a nice little slip cover. What an amazing film this is. I think it was originally made for TV, from what I understand. But like I say, I'd never seen it. And it's really, really good. It's very focused. It's one particular guy who's been hassled by somebody you never see in a truck. You know, trying to ram him off the road, basically. And it's all about how this guy's journey is sort of terrorised by this lorry. And all the scrapes he gets into trying to escape, and then it's so good. And then there's a bit of a final showdown. There's a few plot holes, I've got to say, and I don't think the end was perhaps as convincing as it could have been. I thought myself in my head I could think of a better ending for this, but that said, what a cracking film. It only took me like 50 years to watch it since it came out. Now this is another one I remember watching as a kid, and I thought I'd love to watch that again. It wasn't in my collection. I've rebought this, and I thought before I watched it, it's going to be terrible. But I really want to watch it anyway. Condor Man, a Walt Disney film, as you can see, kind of a comic book hero style film, I would say, starring none other than Michael Crawford, aka Frank Spencer. I mean, yes, it is bad in many ways and ridiculous, but that said, it's still, I really enjoyed it, and it's still really, really good. It's like, in some ways, it's so cheesy, it's good, you know what I mean? Then another one, I'd never watched this. I'd seen bits of it, but I'd never watched it all the way through, and I'd picked up Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I've got to say, I know it's like one of these iconic 80s films, and I think if I'd seen it in the 80s, I would have thought it was probably great when I was of a similar age to the character in the film. But I spent most of the time, this time, thinking, what an absolute knobhead. So, it was kind of fun to watch, but I think it was of its time, really. And then the last one I watched, this was in my collection. And I felt I wanted to watch it when I opened up the boxes it was in. And it's Halloween. I know it's not very topical, but look at the cover. I don't know if you can see it very well in the light. Lenticular, obviously. I've had this ever since, I don't know, the 90s when I was buying them, because I was massively into Region 1 at the time. What a film Halloween is. This has got the original theatrical one and a TV version. Don't know what the difference is. I'm assuming it's toned down a bit. But stunning film. Absolutely stunning. And from memory, Halloween 4 is really good as well. So I'm kind of on the lookout for that. I used to have, I think I had 1 to 5 at the time when they, or 5, or H2O, whatever it was called. But I've only kept that one, unfortunately. But I remember 2 and 3 being a bit rubbish. And 4 was really good, so I need to get 4 back in my life. Anyway, that's kind of all I've been watching, really. So I haven't really been playing much. I've had a quick go in the arcade. And something else that was sacrificed in the arcade was the Spectrum sort of display. Because since owning the Spectrum, the retro games, modern Spectrum that came out in November, it was a game changer for me. I've never touched the Spectrum since. It's so easy on the new Spectrum. Full library of games on the USB stick. It's just amazing. I've played the Spectrum more since I've had that than I have in the past years. So consequently, I decided I don't need most of the games. I've just kept my childhood ones. And I'm playing them all on the new Spectrum. And if you want to see them loud, you can select which way. You can have them instantly coming on, or you can have them loading with the traditional screens if you want to see it. So it's perfect for me. And that has been moved up here now. That the Spectrum is in the games room, which it never really has been properly. So absolutely loving that. So all my micros now, my micro minis, are all in one place, and that's also given me more space in the arcade for, like I say, the changes I've made. So on that subject, I've been playing a bit more Spectrum than I have done. So the first thing I played on the new Spectrum was 180. Now, this is the greatest darts game ever made. It is amazing, and it's still fantastic. I would still say it's the greatest darts game ever made. I really got stuck into this, spent quite a bit of time on it. I was determined to finish it again because it's quite difficult, or I remembered it being quite difficult to beat Jammy Jim in the final, because you've got to do a 9-dart finish. But after a bit of practice, I managed it, and amazing. I'll be playing it again, but I completed it again, but brilliant. And then the other one I started playing, which is actually preloaded on the Spectrum standard, was Manic Miner. One of my favourites. Just so relentlessly difficult back in the day. Because if you don't know, there's 20 screens. They're all sort of single screen. Collect the items, get to the exit. And I never got anywhere near completing it back in the day. I think I might have got, I don't know, maybe 10 screens in, perhaps something like that. So at best halfway. But in addition to the standard games, like I say, I've got them on a USB stick, all sort of a massive library. And there are also like hack versions. So I found one that gave you infinite lives on Manic Miner. So I thought, right, fantastic, we've got a chance now. And I was playing it, you know, every day for I don't know, a week or so. And I was going a bit further each time. So you've still got to do each screen. You know, even though you've got infinite lives, you've still got to, because some are so hard, it's so difficult to get through them, no matter how many lives you've got. Anyway, I kept persevering, and eventually got to the penultimate screen, which is the solar power generator. And my God, that is so frustrating and hard. It's unfair, I would say, because there's this random sort of solar beam that moves around the maze, and as soon as you come into contact with it, it don't kill you, but it drastically reduces your oxygen and hence your time in the level. And even though I know how to do the level and I can get round all the obstacles, I just can't get to the exit in time before the oxygen runs out because of this solar beam. And I kept playing it and getting to that level, and I thought, you know, I'm going to persevere, I'm going to do it. Unfortunately, as of yet, I haven't. And the ironic thing is the last level, the final barrier, that's called, that looks really easy compared with some of the earlier levels. So I'm sure if you could get past this solar power generator, you would then finish it without too much difficulty. It's an amazing game, Manic Miner. Absolutely love it. It's brilliant. But that one level is so frustratingly hard. It's a tear your hair out, break the controller style level, honestly. But I will keep persevering. Not convinced I'll do it, but you know, it's great having that option on the new Spectrum, because it's allowed me to get much further into the game than I ever would have done and ever did back in the day. Right, nearly done. The last thing I played was for Steve's challenge, which was Ridge Racer Revolution. I'm sure you've seen a few people enter. I played the Japanese version, obviously, like I said on the video. I never really played much of this one. I think most people have said the same. You know, I absolutely caned the original Ridge Racer, probably because it was the only game I had for my Japanese PlayStation when I had it. So that was all I played. But I do remember playing this, but not like massively. And then Rage Racer I played to death. So whether it was because I wasn't that keen, I can't remember. Because going back to it now, as Steve said in like the initial challenge video, the handling's not right on this compared with the original. It's just not, the drifting is just not consistent, and it was a nightmare really. But a nightmare in terms of inconsistency. It's still a great game, and there's still loads of fun to be had with it. It's just, it don't play quite as well as the original and Rage Racer. But it's still a great game. So, you know, I'm not saying it's rubbish by any stretch. It's not. It's still a great game. It's just awkward to know what the drift is going to do, because normally you lift off in Ridge Racer and that initiates a drift, and then you can control it sort of easily, if you like, and consistently. Where this, sometimes you'll lift off and it'll drift, sometimes you'll lift off and it won't, and you've got to use the brake to sort of get the drift going, and then it seems to drift violently sometimes and then not so much others. I don't know whether it needs more practice. I'm not sure, But whatever the reason, I'm guessing that's probably why I didn't play it so much at the time when it came out. But it's still good, and I'm looking forward to see who ends up, quickest this month. Because I was quite reasonably happy with my time. I think there's a bit more in it. So I don't know. I'm sure Ross will smash everybody. But anyway, I think we'll leave it there. We've rambled on for half an hour. Let me know what you think of this kind of video. A bit of a ramble. I quite like rambling videos, so I thought I'd do one myself and start this little series off. A bit of channel chat, if you like. So, thanks for watching. Hope you're all well. Sayonara.